Hey y'all, welcome to the first episode of I don't know what I'm gonna call this yet, but it's basically an Astros pregame show, and we're gonna talk about what each team needs to do to get their win today. Usually I'm gonna do this for only intra-division games, so against Brooklyn, Texas, Los Angeles, or Seattle. But today's a must-win game, so let's get into this one as well. Hitting first, we got the Colorado Rockies. Here is their lineup. Leading off at left field, we have Connor Joe, followed by Ryan McMahon at third base. I was going to say Ryan Mac, and then I just stopped. We got Trevor Story at shortstop, and hitting cleanup is Charlie Blackmon at right field. CJ Cron is the only hitter in this lineup with experience against Jake Odorizzi. He'll be playing at first base. Elias Diaz will be catching for John Gray. Sam Hilliard will be at center field. Raimel Tapia is not DHing or playing the outfield because he got sent to the IL just earlier. And Taylor Motter, who's replacing him, will be DHing today. And they have Garrett Hampson at second base. The game plan for the Rockies is honestly super simple. It's 2 words. Go crazy. That's it. And by go crazy, I don't mean like pop off and score 20 runs. Because obviously you'd want to score as many runs as you can. But with this Rockies team, they're kind of in a double-edged sword position, you know. They're not making the playoffs, which is a bad thing. But the good thing with that is now you can do whatever you want to do because it doesn't change the outcome of the season. They don't have to play tense. They can just play loose, play with their backs against the wall, go crazy, do whatever they want. It's your last year with Trevor Story. Go make the most of it. And when you have that off your burden, that could help a team a ton. You know, knowing that it doesn't matter if you win or lose, just have fun. And then sometimes good things happen from that. And the reason why I say go crazy on Jake Odorizzi is because he's the best player to go crazy on, you know. Hitting against Jake Odorizzi is like going to a sorority party. Everything is smashable. That sounded horrible, even though it was supposed to sound horrible. But Jake Odorizzi, all his pitches have a plus run value or 0 run value, except for his curveball that's barely above average at -1. Everything else is average or worse. So he's hurting his team or doing nothing for his team with his with most of his pitches. So when none of his pitches are really working for him, the Rockies can go with whatever, just go crazy on everything, you know? They don't have to really guess at this point. They can just do whatever. And even if they don't want to guess, most of his pitches are fastballs. His expected slugging on his fastball is a 501. That is insane expected slugging. The average expected slugging for the league is 399. So 501 expected slugging is crazy. His expected slugging on the cutter is 0.45. And both of these have plus run value. His fastball is +2 and his cutter is +3. And then his slider is his worst one. It has a 535 expected slugging. And his FIP is horrible. It's 507. And his skill interactive ERA is 4.49. So, honestly, there's nothing really going well for Jake Odorizzi. So, Rockies, just play hard and have fun, you know. They're the best base running team, as I'm going to mention later on. So, you know, be aggressive. Do what you want, and when you do what you want, when you have fun, good things happen. So the Astros kind of are in a predicament. They're playing a team that has nothing to lose because they've already lost everything. And this could be a very scary Rockies lineup today, even though Raimel Tapia, one of the faster players in the league, is on the injured list. Our starting lineup for the Houston Astros starts with Jose Altuve at second base, as usual. Michael Brantley in left field today, so no Jordan in the left field. He'll be DHing in the cleanup spot. But before that, we have Aledmys Diaz at third base. I like that move. And then, of course, Jordan Alvarez, cleanup spot. Carlos Correa at shortstop, normal. Kyle Tucker at right field. Chas McCormick in center field. And then Yuli Gurriel is still on the IL. So Taylor Jones will be starting at first base. And then we have Martin Maldonado catching. And, of course, Jake Odorizzi is starting today. So what are the keys for the Astros, who, you know, are now in a must-win game against the Rockies, which is weird because the Rockies are not really known for being a tough team. But guess what? We just lost 3 out of 4 to the Minnesota Twins. We're only 2 games ahead in the AL West. And we lost our first 2 meetings against the Colorado Rockies this year. So the Astros need to step it up today. And how are they going to do that? Well, they got to attack the four seam on John Gray. That's his worst pitch by far. It has a +5 run value, which is really bad because if you're a pitcher, you want negative run value on your pitches. He has a 17.7% whiff percentage on the fastball, so not many people are missing the fastball. So we got to attack that, especially when we're the highest contact percentage team in baseball. And he also has a 437 expected slugging, so people are hitting the ball hard when they're hitting the fastball. The league average for expected slugging, like I said earlier, was 399. And his put-away pitch is a slider. So when you're on two strikes, you got to look for that as well. And then the biggest part, actually, is that we need to avoid the double play. The Houston Astros have hit into the most double plays this year, I think. If not, like, second most, I think. It's up there. And John Gray has a 51.9% ground ball percentage. So when we put guys on base, we cannot hit it to the ground. We got to hit it in the air at the very least. Obviously, you want a line drive up the middle, or not even up the middle at this point with all the shifts. You want a line drive into the gap, get a double or something. You don't have to chase the home run ball because guess what? The Astros are not a home run hitting team, even though they have the highest home run streak this season. But, you know, they've been relying heavily on just putting good contact, not necessarily hitting home runs. That said, good contact could also hurt. You know, Giancarlo Stanton yesterday hit a ball 122 miles per hour exit velocity, and it was turned into a double play. So we cannot hit the ball on the ground today. We got to avoid that at all costs. And on defense, the Astros have to be on their toes. The Rockies are the best base running team by far this season. They have 17.6 base running runs above average, and nobody else has more than 10 in the league. And the Astros also have to capitalize on the element of surprise. You know, the only person in the Rockies lineup that has experience against Jake Odorizzi is C.J. Cron. And Jake Odorizzi should be able to use that to his advantage. You know, even though he has not been good this year, he's having a slight advantage in that department. So he's got to milk it all the way because he can't milk his advantages from the slider, fastball anymore because they haven't done well for him. So maybe if, you know, he mixes up normally, he goes against the scouting report, then the Rockies will be caught off their toes. And I don't know if that's the right term, but Jake Odorizzi has to capitalize on that because that seems to be the only thing that could go well for him. And if the Astros do all four of this, then they could get the win. Obviously, the Rockies have not had a great season, but they can win whenever they need to win. It's just that they never need to win anymore because they're basically eliminated from the playoffs. But they could come back and haunt you. They already did that in 2 other games against us this year. So the Astros cannot let that slip under. I'm a classic man.